How do you deal with high-level betrayal with malicious intent?
Well, that's aggressive. So there's a couple things. One, I don't recall if, like, for example, it was funny where my brain went. I'm very anti-litigation, but when I hear that, I'm like, it's appropriate for some people that there's litigation, right? What I tend to do is just, if it's something structured as that sentence, I just cut out of my life and cut my losses. I'm in a place in my life emotionally and financially, and have been my entire life, even when I didn't have the financial part, where I never choose money for my own unhappiness. And if somebody is trying to do bad things, and then you've got to decide, right? Like, if somebody's trying to blackmail, extort, steal, like, these are, you go through the proper channels. And we all have, some people litigate 24/7. Some people want to have conversations directly with the person. Some people want to go public with the information. It has to work for Aiden or whoever here is thinking about those things. How do I? Some of you already know this. My preference is one-on-one because I'm thrilled to do stuff in public. I'm not thrilled to do litigation, but I always find that if there's a major problem, there's actually a real opportunity to have a real conversation. There's just so valuable, right? And so being the bigger person and having a direct combo would be my first place. Often if someone does something so tough, they're in such a bad place that even the one-on-one can't solve that. That usually then leads to cut out. To me, if I've given one or two meaningful tries to salvage a relationship in the right way, and I'm not being met halfway, then I'm incredibly comfortable with cutting out in perpetuity. And even then, my cutting out in perpetuity is secretly I hope in 4 years it can be reconciled. There's just no reason to have pain and negativity in the world if you can help it. And so that's kind of where I'm at.
How do you determine what's going to retain an employee the longest?
Money, title, human interaction, culture, their relationship directly with you if you're at the top are the themes that create retention. However, you don't know. That's the point of entrepreneurship. You don't know. Those are the themes. And to the way the question was asked, having constant conversation.
Yeah.
I think another indicator is they have strong relationships with other people that are looking to retain. So one thing that's been an indicator for sure is they have a relationship with me, but they're also tight with 2 to 6 people that have been here for 8 or 10 years.
Yeah.
Thank you for the entertainment, Anthony M. But you just don't know. They get married and they need to move to their spouse's hometown. Obviously with remote, that's easier now. But there's a million things that go into it. All you can do as a business owner is have the right intent, and that will keep the highest percentage of people for you.
How would you use LinkedIn to transition from one industry to another?
By producing videos and written words and making decks that you post in LinkedIn constantly, like a blog post or a social media post, and you speak from a place of your opinions and your outside observations, which then positions you as, if you have good ideas, thoughtful, and somebody with fresh eyes that might be of interest to be hired or partnered with. My advice is similar to a person that's trying to teach physical health. Gary, how do I get muscles? Proper exercise where you're doing the move properly. As someone who had no chest muscles 8 years ago, all of the things I was doing was being done in my neck and shoulders, and I was prone to injury. And by doing it right over a period of time, it happened. But I also had to eat protein after I worked out. You do the right things. Same in business. Almost every question in today's society is actually predicated on putting out content into social networks, but then you also have to do it properly.
What strategies would you implement for small businesses in this down market?
The answer I just gave earlier. Literally a headline I was thinking about green screening yesterday was about how a TikToker did one review of a restaurant and the restaurant was on the verge of bankruptcy and now it's quadrupled in sales. I kind of put the alpha in something yesterday or the day before. I'm writing jab, 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 left hook. Right? And it's because jab, 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 right hook still gets emails every day from small businesses and entrepreneurs that it's helping them. And I wrote it 7, 8 years ago. The strategies are not as good as what I can tell you now about doing a green screen and why, or LinkedIn that. So small businesses need to create demand. Demand comes from marketing. Organic reach and social is the best way a small business can do marketing, because you're able to get awareness and not have to pay for it. You can't put a full page ad in a newspaper and not pay for it. You can't run a commercial on TV and not pay for it. You can't buy an outdoor billboard and not pay for it. You can't run an audio ad on a radio station or a podcast and not pay for it. Everybody shits on the algorithms and these platforms. You can fucking open an account on Instagram, TikTok, or LinkedIn right now, post something, pay nothing for the distribution, and change your life. It's crazy. I don't understand how people don't see this. So I would say become the best at social media marketing for your small business. If it's B2B, that means LinkedIn, YouTube Shorts. If it's B2C, it means TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. You've got Twitter, you've got Pinterest for fashion brands and female-centric businesses. You've got long-form YouTube, you've got short-term YouTube, form YouTube with YouTube Shorts. You've got Snapchat for youth culture. Like, there's just a lot of places to, Facebook's on fire, both Reels and Facebook fan pages, you know.
How can we leverage NFTs and ChatGPT/AI writing for my clients?
I think ChatGPT could be done from a blog post and, you know, media creative output standpoint, content, like we were talking earlier. I think for NFTs, it's too early. I don't think HVAC contractors need to execute NFT marketing executions for their business. I think it's way too premature. It's way too early. It's like HVAC contractors needing a website in 1995. They didn't. It wasn't gonna impact their business enough yet. But as far as chat, CPG, I think, you know, GPT, I always say CPG because I'm always saying that term at Vayner. Like, it's an incredible technology. Everyone should be playing with it because it's the first preview at scale of like really showing real AI, not the bullshit AI that a lot of people were peddling for the last half decade. And so, you know, in direct answer to you, there's a lot of blog posts that can be written that they can get the framework for, add, you know, 20 minutes of time instead of an hour of time to make the blog post have meat to it, because ChatGPT keeps it a little bit generic, and that will save them efficiency if they want to do a strong local, you know, marketing play and try to win on SEM. But even that's a little far-fetched, but it's still at least worth it for them to start playing with it.
How do you scale a company from basically nothing to be a part of the list where you mentioned, you know, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram?
Outrageous levels of talent and patience. Facebook was 4 years old when I saw them, and was still was big, but like most of the world didn't know it. 4 years old on one of the biggest ideas in the world. Almost nobody knew it except for kids in college. And then you have entrepreneurs that come up with an idea that is not one of the biggest ideas in the world, and they are always coming to me 4 months in saying, why am I not here, right? And that's not what you're doing, but I'm giving you the answer. The answer to your question is lots of perfect execution off of really good idea, and a lot of time for it to happen.
What's one new piece of advice for any 20-something-year-old looking to go above and beyond knowing what you know today?
You know, I would say that not a lot changes because the real shit is universal and deep, right? Technology and time changing makes certain things even more profound. You know, the reality is like the options for a 20-year-old is even more real than it was when I was making that video, right? Like, I don't even know how it's logical in any shape or form to be 22 years old and not follow your dream for at least 24 months. It's like almost ridiculously illogical. Because at 24, you can go and get a job, and at 22 to 24, you can live really shitty by having shelter and food that is not really super profound, you know? And so I would just say that things stay the same, but technology has created more options than ever for the kids. And I just want them to go after it more, not less.
How you would go about growing a YouTube channel, because honestly the work is a lot of digging, it's a lot of water.
I think you have to make it about the personalities and broader, right? Because it's so niche. If you want it to be, you know, I think you do what I do, right? Like, look at Wine Library TV. It was about wine for the wine business, that's niche. But then it was also about GaryVee, Gary Vaynerchuk. And then it also became about like macro thinking, you know, thoughts of like patience and hard, like, and so I think you've got to run a very similar blueprint. Yes, the thing, then about you, then about things that helped you build your business. So it's, you know, that kind of stuff.